Today, we have the profound honor of welcoming a great soul to the Seekers of the Eternal podcast, renowned visionary artist, tattoo artist, spiritual seeker, and creative force hailing from South India. Today, we have Swastik Iyengar, known in the world of tattooing as Ganga Ma and affectionately by her friends as Swaz. Her work is a magical practice, a conscious energy exchange, devotion made visible, a form of embodied prayer that channels ancient wisdom through ink and through intention. She carries with her the power of lineage, clarity of vision, and the courage to follow her heart. And her artwork seems to be this intermediate where skin and ink becomes like scripture that is tattooed into people, magical practices of energy exchanges. I'm really excited to dive into her journey and to hear about the way that she connects with others through her artwork and through her tattooing. So, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to Seekers of the Eternal, Swaz.
Thank you for having me, Krishna, and thank you for such lovely words. It's actually really nice to be in your podcast because meeting you at the Tampa convention really just made my time there. You're so sweet, and your work is, yeah, I loved it. As you know, I bought every T-shirt I could. They're great, and they're powerful, and so it's an honor to be um here with you. Yeah.
Thank you. It was such a great surprise getting to meet you here in Florida and Tampa. We were at the Cigar City Tattoo Fest. I had a little booth there and got to meet Swaz. I was very surprised to see you there. I've been following your work, and I didn't know where you were living, being here in the States or in India or in Australia or in London. But to see you here in Florida was such a treat. So it was so fun to connect with you, and I felt so honored to get some shirts into your collection.
I love them. Yeah, I love them, and you're just so uh your booth and you just radiating. I was just, I couldn't, my eyes were drawn over there, and then actually interacting with you, just feeling so much love, and just thinking, like, after meeting you and then having the honor of trading paintings with you, and then I just, you're a very special person, and I wanted to say good morning to you every day I was there, and then I, even if I was tattooing, I was like, where's Krishna? I have to see her, tell him good night. It was so special. That was a great time, that convention, wasn't it? It was a good time.
Mm,
Yeah, it was lovely.
mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was something
Yeah.
a little new for me. I'm not at a lot of tattoo conventions, so I really enjoyed that, and I felt the same way meeting you. I feel like we were old friends. I didn't know
Yes.
what you looked like, so I didn't recognize you from, I know your tattoos, so but seeing you across the room, I was like, that's a friend of mine, but I've never met her before. I hope we can get to hang out. So it's nice
Yeah.
that now we get to have this long conversation together, get to
Yeah.
know each other well. And yeah, that was a really cool
Yeah.
tattoo fest. And
Yeah.
really, I mean, over the years, tattooing has been, obviously I've got a lot of tattoos and I've had been in that world for a while. Actually, my first studio that I opened it was also a tattoo shop. So it was my
Oh,
friend and I, a
wow.
partner. And so I kind of grew up and learned how to draw in that world of tattoos. And
Oh,
really overwhelmingly, it's amazing. People don't really know until you start hanging out with some high level tattoo artists just how beautiful the people are in that industry a lot of times. And
yes, I agree. Yes, yes. Out of curiosity, did you ever get to do some tattoos? Because you're a phenomenal artist.
I've never tattooed anyone. I've
Oh,
always yeah.
I'd love to get a tattoo from you. If you ever tattooed, hands down, I'd love to get one from you. Yes.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's funny. It comes into my mind every once in a while, and I've had people offer to train me. So you never know. Who
You
knows?
never
So maybe
know.
one of these days I do it. It makes me think. People like you. I'd love to dive into a bit of your background. People are probably
Sure.
interested in, and
Yeah.
to hear about where you come from and how you got into tattooing. I know that there is a bit of a lineage of tattooing in your family as well, and
Yeah.
you're holding on to some traditions. Maybe tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about where the traditional tattoos in your family
Family.
come from.
Yeah, so I'm of Indian heritage. I was born in South India and I was raised by my family who are a very religious family, devotees of Krishna, more specifically Lakshmi Narasimha, who is a form of Vishnu. Um, so I was raised in India till I was 10. Um, and with regards to tattooing in my family on my mother's side, whilst my grandmother wasn't formally known as a tattooist, she had many jobs. Rest in peace. She's a wonderful wonder. It was just her birthday not long ago, actually. She she would do what is called as traditional South Indian stick and poke kolam tattoos. Um, Kolam is actually an intricate matrix of dots and lines to harness in good energy. And traditionally, in most parts of India, and more specifically in South India, various areas of South India, women would draw on this matrix, and by draw I mean it's the actual column itself, the matrix. It's made of rice flour, so they would draw it with their hands in front of the house every day, or in front of like Vida, like our house shrine, because you want to invite Lakshmi in, and Lakshmi is prosperity, so you want good energy. And the notion is you do it every day because you have people every day, the milkman, the postman, stray dogs walking all over the column. And it's made of rice flour because it's meant to be rubbed off, eaten by insects and crows. Uh, because to us that means the household or the area is blessed because the ancestors have acknowledged us, and Lakshmi has acknowledged us, and she is has blessed for the area for the day. And also, more specifically, what's really beautiful is like in India, very big pujas, rituals such as yugyas and omams, uh, lavish column designs are made on the ground where the actual the I would say the omam, where the fire, like where the bricks and the fire and the actual tantric practice of bringing in rice flour, putting offerings to the fire is made, because more specifically at that point, they're inviting Lakshmi and Lord Ganesh. Lord Ganesh is the remover of obstacles. So initially they invite Lakshmi, then the puja of Ganesh is made, so that the puja itself, the omam, is but fruitful and positive, and yes. But within a tattoo context, thousands and thousands of years ago, uh in the jungles, there was no access to, say, doctors. There was the medicine man. And what would happen is, if someone was ill, and that was the case of the little column tattoos that my grandma mainly did, not on like general public, but family members, cousins, through the know, uh, was because essentially the people would go see the medicine man, and the medicine man would do his healing practice and give medicinal herbs, and then say, "It's time for you to see the Pachakuttiya Mama, Amma," which translates to the black stick ink and poke mother. And the family members will take the person that is meant to have the illness or the disease to the lady who is performing these stick and poke tattoos. She would analyze the person's body and would put a small stick and poke column, say, in the inside forearm or the ankle, and it would eradicate uh, demonic spirits, negative spirits within the body, or a cancer. Because what's meant to happen is that any negative entity will go to that point where the tattoo is and trap itself inside the matrix, because there's no exit in a column design, and it would trap itself and then be expelled. So column uh, is still practiced in India. It's still drawn. It's still tattooed, as far as I know, but very rare, very very secretive. I think more recently, people, it's super cute. Street tattooing is predominantly more, people getting their names on them, or the word mother, or a trishul, and that was very heavily influenced by Western culture and the bringing about of the English sailors to the Bombay docks, and when they had a rose with a dagger, or a love heart with the banner that said "Mom," it was a trading. It was a beautiful trading of cultures, visually, verbally. So more specifically, it's interesting. I love speaking to people when I go to India. They'll have their own name tattooed on them. Um, but we have many tribes and many different, wow, many different groups of people practicing different styles of tattooing pertaining to their culture, and and cultural significance, priorities, and what they treasure as key to their lifestyle, as key to their values and principles of what their specific tribe represents.
Mm, beautiful. I love that. Thank you for breaking that down for me. I was reading somewhere that every culture up to maybe just like 500 years ago, every major culture that we know of had a magical ritual tattoo practice, and that over time a lot of these have been forgotten about. So
Mm,
it's really, I love meeting people who are keeping alive ancient traditions for healing. Tattooing seems to be such a perfect vehicle for that, the combination
yes,
of that energy exchange between you and the one receiving the tattoo,
yes,
and that in the pain that you have to go through to get it.
absolutely, yes, yes.
Was thinking
The
about healing.
permanency,
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, as you were saying.
Oh, I was just saying, I was thinking about that healing practice. I've been getting really interested in healing, energy healing techniques and
Mm,
practices, and thinking about the way that works. And one of my teachers was saying that in order for a healing to be successful, it requires obviously the healer, the ability of the healer, and then also
mm,
the ability of the one receiving it to open themselves and believe and to receive. But that
beautiful.
ability of the healer really is their ability to connect with the divine. So their
Yes,
devotional practices, able to
yes,
connect with the divine, and now this symbol. I loved how you talked about the geometry being like a maze that can trap the negative energy or the spirits inside of that. I love to think
yes,
about symbolism, just that is a symbol of an idea, that the healer can have in mind, the one receiving it can have in mind. And it's
Yes.
just really amazing to think about what can really the healing can come through something like that, the more that you believe in it and the more that healer is connecting with spirit when they're applying it.
Yes, I couldn't agree with you more, Krishna, because it's such a powerful thing, tattooing. It's an energy exchange. It's a connection. It's permanency. Um, and with that, if I uh listen, if I'm not in the right state of mind, then I'm not delivering something to the best of my ability, first of all, and authentically giving that person, my client, my friend, a full experience that is positive and beautiful for both of us, and more specifically them, as they have chosen, they're giving me the honor of their skin. And so if I'm in a good state of mind, um and I care, and I love what I do, and I really put intention into listening to my client, drawing what they want to the best of my ability, and delivering a service to the best of my ability, um, not only in execution sense, but in just a person that can relate, then I can say that we had a great experience and it was lovely. And if I think about now, when I get tattooed, it was different. When I was younger, I was rebellious. You know what it's like to be when in my 20s. And,
Hmm.
uh, um, I would want that. I seek people that I feel are kind and care, and I feel a great connection with, um and just it's just a very symbiotic relationship, experience, practice. So I totally agree with you. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing to think about that. I think more and more what people are, at least people that I know, a lot of times having an experience with that tattoo artist is kind of a really big part of it. Obviously, you're getting these skin modifications and things, but that shared experience between you and the tattooer, you're spending this really intimate time that you're having. And I think about more and more, I think in the future, people will be getting tattoos for these ancient reasons, for coming in for a medicinal reason to receive that. And we've been seeing that happening more and more with people getting tattoos for big moments in their lives, or
Yes.
tattoos in the back, used to
Yes.
be about a rite of passage or,
Yes.
moving into a new phase of your life.
Yes.
It's really neat to think about someone like you bringing this culture from where you grew up, and then in a new way, in a new expression, bringing it to people here in the West, of like carrying over that lineage and almost resurrecting it. I know I've heard you say in India that's that style of tattooing, and it's also looked at as mm, kind of looked down upon by people, and it
Mm,
may be like starting to fade away, or only poor
mm,
people get those, or it's
mm,
superstitious. Where I
mm,
feel like, with you bringing this over to the West, and with
mm.
tattooing, such a great vehicle for people to learn about culture and to spread ideas. So it's really exciting to think about you coming from there, making this hero's journey over to the West, and now sharing your magic in really the same way, of bringing kind of healing to people while they're getting these tattoos from you.
You're so sweet. You make me nervous. You're giving me too much credit. I honestly, I think, I had the privilege, honestly, to be able to be raised in the West after 10. My parents worked several jobs just to put me and my sister through school. And I wasn't the most easygoing kid at all, by far. My sister, she did great. She went the Indian good girl way, became a doctor, I was a very, I looking back at it now, I was a pain in the ass, so to speak. So I think, you know, being given the privilege to be able to move to the West and being given, I mean, I got freedoms that most people in India, my cousins, didn't get. I got to go to shows. I drank. I was exposed to a lot of things that led me to the path of tattooing, so to speak, because a lot of my friends, when I moved to London, which is when I started getting tattooed, they were immersed in that punk scene. They were getting tattooed. And I had the freedom of not living with my parents, who I was raised in a very, very, very strict household, to just kind of basically lie my way and get tattooed. And they didn't see me till I was heavily tattooed. And so I would have to say I honestly thank, I think, I don't want to sound too crazy, but I do believe that God led me, Lord Narasimha led me in each step of the way, because my first tattoos were Lakshmi Narasimha when this is 18 years ago. I didn't want to get any old tattoo. Thinking back now, I didn't really want to get any old tattoo. I stepped into the doors of Into You, in London, and I had seen that there was a love for Indian culture instantly. They had imagery of sacred Hindu symbology as well as deities. So I was two reasons. I was selfish. I thought in my mind, hey, if I go Lakshmi Narasimha, my Amma is not going to get angry at me because it's not a skeleton on a motorbike. But I also wanted to get Lakshmi Narasimha because I lost my faith. Uh, I was very religious as a child. My mom had taught me slogans, prayers, from the minute I could stand, up until the innocent ages of till I was like, 10 years old. Then pre-puberty hits, and then puberty hits, and my connection to God became less and less. Then came London, and there was no connection. And I think I always question why Narasimha, really deeply, intrinsically. Yes, I know you were a little bit scared. You wanted to get the okay from your parents, but there's also a reason. And it didn't stop with just getting Lakshmi Narasimha. I started getting only deities on me. And I thinking back at it now, um, everything you said before, like people are now seeking out, like wanting to get tattooed as a rite of passage, in a sense of, hey, I've gone through something, or hey, I want to celebrate something. I think I did that too, subconsciously, when I started getting tattooed. So I was led in the way of tattooing. But 18 years ago, it took a lot of courage to come out to my parents to be this heavily tattooed. There wasn't any Indian people that were. And it wasn't easy, Krishna. But I'm so grateful for those experiences, because I can relate to a lot of people getting their first tattoos and explaining, like, we laugh about our parents, and we talk in our mother tongue. We're like, we have so much in common, so it's they were, these are all life lessons. And I think, like, I think, yeah, I do think that Narasimha brought me here. As I don't know if I'm just the vessel. So it's like bringing. I think in terms of bringing in the Eastern to the West, I know that when I started, I was very moved. No one in the shop that I was they were all American traditional inspired. They would try tattoos. I didn't have social media, and the counter guy at the time got me social media, and I came across uh I think he was the first person I followed was Robert Ryan, and then I saw a whole bunch of other legends in America, Walter, Joseph Nickley, and it was like every day I was just like, wow, wow. I'd wake up in the morning because I'd wake up at 5, jaw pain. I'd go to the shop, clean, last to leave. Um, and I think witnessing what they showed in their work online, and still to this day being amazed, inspired, guided, I would say they became my gurus. N- Not in the I never had and I never met them, but they became my gurus. Not in the way of how to put a tattoo on, but in an open heart, express yourself girl sense. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna do deities too. I'm Indian. I'm gonna do it. And the more I started drawing deities and spiritual and esoteric art, the more I started connecting back with God. The more I, I would wake up because I was living with my mom at the time, and she would go to the puja room, and she never forced me, but I'd wake up at the same time and I'd sit and pray next to her because when I was painting the deities, I was reading the stories, and my heart would drop. And my mom said, well, you're Indian, you're a child of God, 10 years in India, like, you're always going to come back to him, and he didn't ever leave you in your rebellious stage. So I think bringing the East stuff to the West, I think it just happened naturally because it also, it took me a week to draw an eagle, and I was like, you know what I mean? I was like, I'll just do Ganesh. So yeah, that was also the reason. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's really it's fascinating how the things that seem like rebellion and going against our parents and going against our early religion and all of this and taking chances at the moment, or disappointing our parents by the decisions that we're making, or like going out and following our heart. But all of that's so often a similar story with all spiritual seekers. We
Yes.
have
Yeah.
to, like, leave behind the known world. We have to go out beyond the boundary and do things that seem reckless and wild, and we have to go out and live our lives and have
Yeah.
those hero's journey moments. And yeah, that
Yes.
was the same for me, as like coming around back again to, because I was an atheist for some years and
Wow, I
just
didn't know
wanted
that.
to leave
Okay.
behind. Yeah, like I wanted to leave. I grew up in the church, Christian
Right.
religion, which is not true Christianity. It's more like dogmatic Christianity. And so in
Right.
my college or years, or earlier than that, I just really wanted to leave all of that behind, and I really had a chip on my shoulder against religion in general. And then it was it was about maybe 25 years ago or so that I went to Thailand, and I saw the temples there and the paintings of the Ramayana on the
Oh,
walls, and
beautiful.
it
Beautiful.
just like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
it
And you
just
say
brought it
true.
back.
It's
Mm.
so beautiful because you're a Ramayana devotee. You're a devotee of Krishna and Rama. That's so beautiful to hear. That's the spark, the catalyst. 25 years ago, huh?
It was like
Amazing.
all of my rules. I always say it's like it's Hanuman and psilocybin that,
Yes.
that
Yeah.
really, because it was like I had all these rules for myself against
Yeah.
religion, against those
Yeah.
things. And
Yeah.
it's amazing how art can open that up in even the toughest, most brittle heart. that the art can
Mm,
draw us in. Was like, what is that? That's so interesting. And, you just
totally.
want to learn more. It took me maybe 4 years before I actually read the Ramayana. I still
Yeah.
didn't want to, I was afraid of it, but I was like, that
Yeah.
monkey is just like, I can't
So
stop thinking
cute.
about it.
Yes, he's so cute. Yeah. Yeah.
So it
No,
makes
it's
me think
true.
with you, yeah, like what you're
Yeah.
doing with your art is opening probably people's minds to things that maybe they before either had an aversion to or hadn't considered, and now with the way that you're making your artwork, it brings the culture across the ocean to the West and
Yeah. Oh,
really makes people want to get interested in these real things that can expand their consciousness.
I thank you. Thank you. I I I, I I'm moved by other people doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
for sure, there's the legends that brought that. Like Robert Ryan going to India for so many years, like Freddie with his religious motifs. I mean, I'm merely a student, will always be a student. I think they they really did it, and the legends that they look up to did it. I've heard some incredible stories of legends that have passed away, like Spider, that I believe he did like he went to India at one stage, you know, and brought some of that flavor to America, and obviously the Liu family, huge. And I think if one is if I am happy like painting what I want to paint. And if you think about it, we're lucky. We get to paint for a living. I get to you know what I mean? I could be stacking boxes and be very sad. But if I even if I'm painting flash, or if I'm painting just a painting, and I get to paint something that is inspired by my culture, then subconsciously, consciously, my body, physically, mentally, emotionally, I'm putting that into my work. And when you get to put that into your work, it's only positive. So I believe some people will feel it. And if other people have done it and it's opened up my consciousness, which it drastically has. And I agree with you. I go to temples in India when I go, and I'm the tourist. I'm the tourist clicking away, and I'm Indian. Like reference. But there's something about art that you can lose yourself. You could have a bad day that morning, or you could have just a normal day that morning, and then you see a piece of work, and you're inside it. You lose yourself. I have honestly had dreams. I constantly get dreams. I'll go to a museum, or I'll go to a temple, I'll see the art. And I think like a couple of days later, the most recent dream I had, it's so vivid. It's like I'm there at the time of Bhagavad Gita, and I'm like little, and everything, the dreams like something of Game of Thrones or something, but it's been inspired by something I've visually seen, and the day went on, but it stayed in that's the power of art and beauty, the beauty of art, the beauty of music. Yeah, so I agree with you. I think art in many ways um opens us up to uh just like really sort of deep ways of thinking that one would not necessarily maybe do if I'm just at home cooking, or yeah.
Well said. No, that's beautiful. It is so amazing to think about the power of art. It's something that maybe a lot of times we forget about, but people travel all over the world to come see a painting, to hear a song, to experience a piece of artwork. it's really fascinating to think of why that is and the
Oh, yes.
power inside the work like that.
Yes,
And
I agree.
thinking about this, oh, and I love what you said. Those visions where we get thrust into one of the scriptures. Oh, those are the
Yes.
best.
Yes. You
I've
know what I'm
had that,
talking about.
yeah,
I
after,
know.
like, reading a
Yes.
story in
Yes.
the Ramayana and then getting a vision in a dream or a psychedelic state or in a
I know.
meditation, and then all of
Yes.
a sudden you're, like, in
You're the
it
per
or a
in it.
cat.
Yes. Yep, I know. I'm just the little village lady in the sari, and I'm seeing Hanuman and the storm, and I feel you. Yes, you get it. Yeah.
Mm, and it's
Mhm.
almost like the artwork that we make. I was thinking recently about it being like an echo of that experience that we bring into the material world so that someone else can also get a glimpse of what we had felt or
Yeah.
experienced or that connection with the divine, and then they see it and then it sparks something in them, and now they want to read the story or they want to know more about it, or I don't know, connect
Mhm.
with somebody that could teach them about it.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, it's not just the visual. You know, it you know, you go deeper. That's what I mean, like I I might when I started, I was painting deities. Then would read another story that was linked to the deity, and then I would try and paint that story. I think in a, I think in also a wonderful way. I think it's probably compounded my ability to process what the the message, the underlying message of that story, because I some people, we all learn differently. Some people are visual, some people read, some people need listen to podcasts. And I think by transmuting, like by sort of like either listening to the stories from my party tata uncle, my mom, and then physically getting the books from India and reading them, I think I was able to really uh and trust me, I know 0.0.0.0.1% of these. I mean, these stories go deep. There are so many underlying messages. I think that's the beauty of constantly seeking, right? Revisiting stories, revisiting what did that story mean. Side note, because we're always evolving and growing as people, but I think for me to like try and process it, I think I had to put pen and paint to paper to fully, to sort of solidify it and go like that's that's the message that I take away. Um because not only would I sort of redraw an aspect of the story, then I would go in deeper and do sort of my own spiritual based esoteric art that was uh like coming from that story, that was sort of what the message that I took away. Like, for example, if whether it be like a pregnant woman where the umbilical cord was the stem of a lotus and then she birthed a lotus, that was essentially me trying to convey the overarching image that I personally got from a story, a situation, because and it might not be what it's saying, but that's what I got, and everyone's different. So yeah,
Mhm. Oh,
yeah,
I totally know what you mean there. That it's I do the same thing as I like to make the artwork to keep spending time with that energy, that vibration, that story, that
yes,
deity, and
yes,
being able to just spend that time and almost honor the connection, honor the vision, honor the insights that are flowing, the wisdom
yes,
by making some kind of relic, artifact,
yes,
and then while I'm working on it, all of a sudden, things that I didn't read in the book or things that I couldn't grasp earlier, all of a
hmm,
sudden start to just become so obvious and real, like an experiential learning process of while making the work, and the more that I
Mm-hmm.
keep my mind on that while I'm working, while I'm painting, the more that the depth of that understanding comes through, and I'm like, "Whoa, where did that come from?"
Yeah, I agree. You're so
Mm,
sweet. You said something really beautiful the other day when we sort of when we talked a little bit. I love your practice, and I never thought about it this way, but you very. This is why you're so inspiring, because you have been doing it much longer than I have. So to me, you're very much a guru when it comes to art, and I do believe we met for a reason. And you had mentioned, like, you even go as far as like that every brush stroke is with devotion and intention. And it is very hard to do, because I am my own worst critic. And things can always be better, more colorful, more saturated, more tidier. But when you said that to me, and as I've been working on some big things for an upcoming exhibition I have, I really sort of I had to learn to let go, and you taught me that. And I have been doing, I've been having a lot more fun. I put the brush, literally this morning I was painting before the podcast, thinking of you and thinking of what you said. And I felt instantly calmer in my state of mind and my body, and just was like, you know, this is, this, this particular painting is homage to all my recent elders that passed away, and just my culture. And I really just felt really calm. And I think that I think I love what you say. Like, it's not just the intention of what you're putting to paper, and the ego death, but the actual practice, the practice of your hand to the paint, to the paintbrush, to the canvas. It's all encompassing.
mm.
So I do thank you for that, advice. Yeah.
Beautiful. I'm glad that that resonated. And by the way, too, it's an affirmation for me that, of course, the negativity comes up, the dragons of
Yeah.
resistance, the losing the losing the track, the train of thought, and start thinking about other things, and then bringing it back. But over and over, it's so similar to a meditation. I know that you've talked about this before too,
Mm.
the painting process, the tattooing process, drawing process, so
Yeah.
similar to meditation, because if we're staying 100% focused on making a devotion out of the brushstroke, and then our mind drifts, and then we catch ourselves and then bring it
Yeah.
back without
Yeah.
judgment, without getting upset that our mind drifted away. And that's all normal and all part of it, of just
Yes.
bringing it back, and like, oh, I caught myself and I'm bringing it back, and
Correct.
oh wow, I get to paint
Yes.
for a living.
Yes.
Wow, how did I get here?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, and we're all human, we have our daily things and our daily thoughts. But I agree with you. I also feel like that with tattooing as well, because it's such muscle memory, and it is ritual. In itself is a ritual. First you do the lines, then you do the shading. There's a certain way to put the color in. And I think what's really wonderful is connection to clients, to the person in front of you, because you have that opportunity, not to treat it like it's a mundane job, but just to see that, you have the honor of skin that, you couldn't, I might have not been able to tattoo that day. This person chose me. Um, and then hearing people's journey and people's stories. I mean, I'm introverted very much, but I'm also extroverted, and I like that time with my clients. And I found that through that I've shared similar interests, and been in situations where I've been invited to partake in meditation circles with them, or or maybe just go to a temple or have lunch. It's a nice way to make friends when you go to a new country. um but the drifting of the mind, it's inevitable, and I think you're right, consciously being aware and being appreciative, which we naturally are, because we have talked about how lucky we are to paint for a living. um it brings you back to the real world. um I also consciously set alarms myself to take my dog out for a walk in the sun, because you need a little bit of sun, otherwise sometimes you feel like you're trapped in your thoughts. I love
Mhm.
reconnecting with nature. I do. I think that's really important in downtime for me. I prefer going camping, or maybe uh, if I don't have readily access to like nature, just even going for a walk around the block is something absolutely so powerful. When you get to go to a waterhole, there's something where the vibrations, I know, like, as soon as I step into a hike, it's like these, I'm just mesmerized by these trees that are like the guardians of little old me walking through the mountains. And I just feel this instant, like, it's a noise, it's like woof, like this instant, like, don't worry about your worries, really just calm, submerging myself in the ocean or the water hole. um I'm always thanking when I do too. I'm always, thank you for letting me be, in your land, inside you. um so yeah, I think for me, having that connection to nature is equally as important as connection to God too, for sure. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me think it's like all those things that we do for ourselves, those good things that we do for ourselves, connecting with nature, spending time
Mhm.
in meditation or daily
Mhm.
rituals or prayers or connecting with other people. All of that is what we can bring into our art, because it is, I know it's like when I'm just by myself making a painting, that's where most of the, like, the mind chatter comes
Yeah.
in. But when I'm with my friends, or if I'm guiding a meditation, when
Yeah.
there is that immediacy, or it's like, okay, I'm here showing up for
Mhm.
others, it's so much easier to drop into it and not have all
Mhm.
that mind chatter. Or if I'm painting a
Mhm.
mural, there's people
Oh
watching me and
yeah.
I know this is for the public,
Yeah.
it's so much easier to focus during those times.
Yeah.
But when I'm just by myself in my own thoughts, so yeah, having those things that we do to really bring us back into our focus and our center again. So
Mhm.
I think it's like all of that we practice is is the real part of it, that we then
Mhm.
are able to, okay, can I channel that into this moment where seemingly it, it's a mundane moment, or there's not a lot of pressure on me. Can I bring in this work without overthinking, without thinking, comparing myself to others?
Yes.
It's such
Yeah.
a far
Totally.
out thing. Mhm.
Yeah, it is, and it's tricky, but I think it's what you're saying, by just like when you are and by the way, I love that you do the meditation retreats. We were talking earlier. I would love. I know that you did at the start of this, that the beautiful prayer and meditation. It was beautiful. Thank you. Honestly, thank you. I think doing meditation just makes, releasing all of that tension, just really just makes it a easy flow. But I think by doing, like you said, the meditation and spending time with loved ones, and you can really channel and focus in at the task at hand. And you're right, the mind chatter reduces, and mind chatter will always be there. And it's interesting, like, I have to remember and tell myself, and my therapist said this too, and everyone knows it, like, a lot of mind chatter is just assumptions. but it's hard for us, because the mind, it's that thing that it's like, I actually want to paint. I want to paint like a painting of like the brain having a fight with the heart. But it's always going to exist. But I think just finding ways to reduce that is certainly very necessary. Because we are at a time where I think there's so much awesomeness with social media, man. Like I think that there's work I would have never seen before. There's people I would have connected with. I would never have had the opportunity to guest in their shop if I didn't have social media.
Hmm.
Um, but it also brings with it, you know, things where, like for me, we compare ourselves, and I just have to keep saying to myself, like, you are your own person. Like every other wonderful person in the world, you come with your own experiences, your own stories. And you did not walk the path that you walked, Krishna, or my client has walked. So, you know, that's the awesome thing about art and tattoos. It's subjective and it's objective. Like, like, that's why I love when we can appreciate each other's art, because I look at people's art and tattoos and I'm just like, whoa, man. Like, I like have worked with some people that do fine line, and I just am mesmerized how they work, because my mind doesn't think like that. Like the attention to detail. And I think that finding like appreciation through that, and um giving ourselves grace and kindness, easier said than done again. um that's why I have a therapist. That's why.
Yeah,
um
we all need that.
they all
Yeah.
need that.
Yeah, it's we all do it. And I think it's
Yeah,
like I like to think of it as a threshold guardian or a dragon.
totally, totally.
Anytime we're gonna do something really good for ourselves, where there's gonna be
Yeah,
this equal and opposite force trying to stop us, and that's
totally
all the
true.
stories and the mythologies.
Yeah, that's true. Well said. I never even thought about it like that. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely. And maybe that is actually like a test. Like, can you get through this painting? Can you do it without having these mental obstacles get in the way? And don't judge yourself if it's good or bad. Just be celebrate that you actually finished it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Yeah,
Yeah, it's a whole journey in itself just to finish it and to go through that, because every one of them is a process of all that
totally.
self-doubt that comes through, and getting
Totally.
keeping going when you're not sure about it,
That's it.
and keeping the energy showing up every day. I think that's why art is so appreciated, because it's so hard.
Oh,
It's so
yeah.
hard to do. So
Yeah.
many people have
Yeah.
fallen and not
Yeah.
continued to pursue it over time. So that's why I think it's so magical and amazing that
Totally.
anybody can do it at all, because all of that, and everything that's
Yeah.
happening in the world around us, all of the
Right. Yeah.
sadness and
Yeah.
the
Suffering.
heartbreaking and all that kind of stuff. But I
Yeah.
think, you know, um, I like to keep repeating this, just that now is the time for artists to make art, and not to feel like that is a trivial thing to do.
I remember you told me that in Florida, sir, and that was the best thing. That was actually, it's so true. It, like art is an emotional thing, right? And some people like any kind of craft, right? Music, pottery, and it's like, I think just what a beautiful way to to put emotion to paper, feeling to paper, um, especially in times like this. Art makes people smile. Art makes art makes people, color. Everyone, color is beautiful. Color is colorful. Seeing color just instantly does something to our brain chemistry. So you're right.
Mhm.
I agree.
Yeah, yeah. Like in this world of all of this division and violence and things that are going on, especially in America, it's so sad.
Yeah,
And you wonder, what should I be doing to help? And I think
yeah,
so often we can feel small and we can feel powerless, that there's nothing that we can do, or should I be in the streets, and should I be starting
yeah,
a revolution? Should I be So
totally.
often what we can do is it starts with ourselves. I think it
Yeah,
starts with what we're talking about, those good things that we're doing for ourselves, getting back out into nature, doing
yeah,
those daily connections to spirit,
yeah,
having these creative outlets, having these
yeah.
good interactions with each other. And then as
Yes,
we do that, we're helping our community, we're helping ourselves. Maybe we
that's
get
right.
a really cool creative idea of something that we could do to help. But I don't think
That's
it
right.
shouldn't start with fear. Like when we're trying to figure out
Yeah,
what we're supposed to do, it shouldn't come from a place of fear or anxiety. First, I think we should start with our own hearts, and then the divine
totally,
can speak to us. Yeah. Mhm.
totally. And um, what's so amazing I found in the recent years with many things over the course of time, um, not just in America, worldwide, the tattoo community is beautiful because there's always like a charity auction to raise money for an event. And it's great because they kind of get like everyone involved, there's been times where I've heard about it and the person organizing is so busy, like and I've just reached out, like, and they're like, dude, of course you can get involved, I'm just so busy, like, fighting the right fight, I want to get more people involved. And it's so cool that people can band together and create art to raise money for like the LA fires, or back when, like, when the pandemic, like money for the nurses, there was Steph Bastian that did that awesome auction. So I think it's really cool. I think our community's cool. I think the art community's cool. And even the community beyond art, music, it's all encompassing. We're all sort of connected, and I think you're right. It's a vibration. It's like and it's not just the states. It's a world. There's so many worldwide things, right? And it's like, if you like being open with love, opening our heart, and just doing these, like, just doing positive steps. Um, it's like a little domino, and then it reaches our community, and then next minute, like, I have a lovely friend here who is uh so through as a client opening a yoga studio. Met through a client, and we're going to be doing be doing a painting to raise some money for some things, heavy things that are happening right now. And it's like a charity auction, and that wouldn't have happened if I didn't uh tattoo this person and then decided that all of us three people were going to take our puppies to a dog park. Do you know, like that?
Mhm.
So it's actually just, it's the universe orchestrates things in very magical ways.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, nothing's random. We're not
Yeah.
alone. None of this is happening randomly. Things that
Yeah.
are happening in our lives are not, it's not just a random occurrence. I
Yeah.
just know that now, you know? And
Yeah.
we can be led if we ask for it. And yeah, I love what you said with that. Just yeah, using your whatever craft or whatever thing that you're good at or that you're interested in. There can be ways to give back with it. And
Yeah.
artists, we get people's attention. And
Mm-hmm.
it used to be for me about getting attention on me, or get attention to my work, or become
Yeah.
famous or popular, or get different
Yeah.
clients. And it's not about that at all anymore. It's really,
Wow.
yeah. Mhm.
That's so great that you shared that. I mean, we've all like we go through that, and I think I mean, I found when I was focusing on those things, on things like more, more, more. I actually had this conversation with a dear friend of mine who's been tattooing a really long time. I think the universe knows. Like, I think that the universe knows when my reasoning for it isn't one coming from a really authentic place, and potentially it's for material gain. It's not allowing me to progress in a way, like, how do I say it? It's not just it's a lot of things. It's obvious to me, like the gods my god is like, you're not getting the point, Swasti. But when I am doing it from a place of like, okay, I give up, I'm just gonna paint because, listen, this is what I know. I'm not gonna sit at home and just not do anything. Like, I'm gonna paint because I love painting. I'm gonna paint what I want. I think the universe is like, there you go, there's someone who's keen on your flash, because you painted what I want, or there you go, like, there's like an opportunity there where someone, and it's more than just, it's like for me recently, because moving countries is hard, I'm trying to establish community and friendships. It's also saying to me, there you go, this person wants this commission, but then I found that I found a friendship through them because they might be running like a meditation night. And then I'm like, oh, universe, I see what you're doing now. Do you know what I mean? So that's so cool to hear, because we all go through that, and it's awesome. It takes courage to say, like, those things that you wanted before no longer are things that you want or serve you, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's incredible the way that that all comes together, and you feel like you're just having these, little conversations with your best friend in your mind, and realizing, "Oh, I was doing it for the wrong reason. That's why it wasn't flowing." And then it starts to
Mhm.
flow again, and we learn, and then we forget again, and then we learn and come back again. And it's so tricky, the ego. No, like the ego is so
Mhm.
tricky, always like tricking us every time. So you would think we would learn it one time and then we would get it and be able to do it all the time, but every painting, every drawing, every time we start again, we go through the
Mhm.
same process
Mhm.
of learning that. But
Mhm.
I would say, man, you, with, I think, what, it's been 8 years of you tattooing, maybe since you put your first one on Instagram,
Yeah.
maybe 2018 or something
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But man, the crispiness of your lines and the way that
Yeah.
you pack the colors and all that is just like top notch. It's just amazing to see. I know that, you've been seeing your heroes and studying American traditional tattoos and combining it with your cultural tattoos, and it's
Mhm.
just that you have such a unique style that you create with, but also just rooted in deep, understanding of the way to do things properly. And that's what's so cool about tattooing, is like this idea of properly doing something for
Totally.
another. And you've
Mhm.
really, you're a student of that, and it really shows in your work the way that you're able to just make those pieces so clean, and with intention. It really comes through, all the things that you do that come through in the work. So it's an honor to be able to get together and chat with you and hear about your process and your where it all comes from. And I hope people will want to get tattooed by you, travel to come see you wherever you are, because there's not a lot of people out there like you that have this deep of a devotion, that
Yeah.
understand energy like this, and are constantly working on your own energy to give it to
Yeah.
others. So it's a real special thing to get tattooed by you. So where can people find you currently, right?
So I live and I'm based in New York, and I work at the wonderful shop called Good Luck, New York City in Greenpoint.
Awesome shop.
Um, it's a great shop, absolutely. Yep. And I have upcoming my first ever solo exhibition in June on the 21st of June to the 24th. I'm going to be there, uh, showing what I've painted, as well as doing talks every night, a
Cool.
little bit of storytelling about my roots, and I guess the paintings. So it's going to be like a 4 day. show, and I'll be tattooing, guesting during the day, and doing talks at night. Um, I predominantly actually will be staying in New York because I have moved my life here. I think it's extremely important for me to build local clientele. And whilst I love traveling, I might do a couple of guest spots like once every couple of months. Um, I haven't done many conventions. I'm doing a few, but I my priority is just to be patient and to really to just keep painting flash, keep building local clientele. For me, everyone's journey is different. For me, I find that if I'm in one place, people kind of, you get the recurring clientele. Um, so I think that's the move for me for now. But I mean, I have to go back to India. I try. I go every year. I'm lost without her, and I go back not only because I have my spiritual practice outside of tattooing that I do with my best friend, my mom. I also gain a lot of reference material that is well, inspiration for my style of work that I can put out. So yeah, and with your kind words, I was gonna say, like, I couldn't. I think traveling and meeting from the Bega tribe to meeting, wow, legends in America is so critical to shaping my understanding of such a complex, powerful, ancient craft that is tattooing. Because without, and I had the privilege to travel, I can't, and I hope I get to travel. I was invited to see the Bega tribe. That experience, like, moved me, shaped me forever in my life. And then I had having the opportunity to then meet, like, these legends who I couldn't have asked to meet more amazing people, because they were so aligned with their practice that it wasn't separate. What they delivered wasn't separate from who they were and their lifestyle. To see, to meet them, to see how they were, like, legitimately sweethearts. When you think, like, you know, tattooing, oh, scary, badass. Like, no, 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 no. They were just like, I was just like, they're so cute. I just kept thinking, almost like childlike too, when they tattooed, and how they interacted with their clients was such a lesson. These, from the tribe to these people, they're still my gurus. Um, Absolutely. It has also just, I guess it's just all holistically is just how it's helped me in my work, in how I approach the craft and beyond. Yeah,
Awesome. Yeah, going back and forth and bringing that energy back, going there, learning again,
yeah,
learning more, having new things come online for you, and then bringing that back over
yeah,
to wherever you're tattooing. It's incredible. I think, like my guru Paramahansa Yogananda says that this age that we're in, it's about the spiritual genius of India and the ingenuity of America, and those things coming together to really
amazing,
lead us into the new age, or into the West in general,
amazing,
of those East and West coming together to really help us to blossom and to move into this new age that we're
beautifully
in
said.
currently.
Yeah, beautifully said. Yeah, beautifully said. So, and truer words, truer words. Yeah, no,
Hmm.
yeah, I love going back, man. Yeah, it's a very special place. And what blows my mind is, like, when I come back, I'm sitting on the bed flicking through the photos that I've taken, just because I'm like, oh, I don't want to let that experience go. I you like, none of the photos are edited, and I think what blows my mind is like how saturated the country is. That sun, from the women wearing the saris to the smell of the pani puri street man, to the smell of like the cows. It's a sacred place. I hear you. It's a sacred place.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
sensory overload. All
Totally.
of those senses. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I'm so glad that we got to get together and chat. I'm so glad that I
Me
got to meet
too.
you while you were here in Florida. What a beautiful synchronistic um, occurrence there to be able to meet you and to be able to share your work with everybody. So I'll put your email. Is that the best way to get a hold of you if you want to if people
Yeah.
want to get
My
tattooed by you? And then I'll put your Instagram there.
Totally. Yes, that's great. That's a
Mhm.
wonderful way. Flick me through an email. I also do free consults, if anyone has their own idea or wants a big piece. I always bring people in for consults. And Yeah, Good Luck's a great place. There's so much light in the shop. So that's a way to get a hold of me. I really look forward to receiving um messages, or whatever it is, receiving some connections and love. And I wanted to
Yeah.
thank you for hosting this podcast with me. I feel like we've just, like, it's just a little, there's so much I can talk to you about, Krishna. You're so inspiring. I mean, man, like, your body of work, on your platform, the mural that you painted, when I looked at your stories, I was just like, this person's a master. This person, I'm like, I need to pick the brain of this person with techniques. Like, it's truly, and I truly feel like you're very, like, you so humble, soft spoken, and your words really hit deep. Um, you bring an energy that's so calming, and I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. Um, and I still feel like, kind of like, zen, even though it's ending. I'm like, I really feel that. I'm gonna do the double breaths. Uh, do the double breaths. That's amazing. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So
Oh.
thank you for the opportunity. It's been nothing but delightful, and I really, truly hope that I will see you sooner than later in real world again.
Oh, thank you so much. I really
Welcome.
appreciate that. And I feel the same way about you. Feeling great from this conversation. And I hope everybody else is feeling amazing from this vibration. Leave some nice comments in there for Swazi. And we hope you enjoyed this. And we'll see you again